Look at that. How good does that look? How good do these look? How good must I have looked in my aquasizing gear doing water running today? Really good is the answer. Better than average. So, Trainiacs, why and how I'm water running is a conversation for another day. I'll circle around a little bit back to it at the end of today, but it all kind of begs a bigger, broader, better topic. How much should you run? How to structure that running? How long should your long runs end up being weekly mileage? We're gonna go through all that today. I have concrete answers for you. All right, so how much you should run is a fairly dicey topic to bring up, especially in triathlon. If you, as a triathlete, start going and reading a whole bunch of running magazines and running workout guides and running plans and running books, you are very quickly, I think, going to get overtrained, because running protocols tend to be about accumulating a ton of mileage, but running protocols don't consider that us triathletes have to swim, which we need to be very long and limber for, and we need to be fresh to be able to put out really big, long, hard bike efforts. Running compresses our body, hampering our swimming ability, and it beats us up really bad, making it difficult for us to put that intensity into biking. How do you run as a triathlete competing in triathlons? Let's give some parameters for this. So how much total weekly mileage should you be building up for? Well, it is a lot less than pure running. Way less. One of the stats I've seen out there that I would say would probably be a really good rule of thumb is you should be building up to being able to do 7/3 of the distance of your race over the course of a week. So let's give you some examples. I had to write this down because it's a lot of math. Canadian math is tough. So in a sprint, you're going to run 5 kilometers, so you need to build up to being able to do weekly mileage equal to 7/3 of that. 11.6 kilometers, 7.1 total miles over the course of a week. An Olympic, 23.2 kilometers over the course of a week, 14.2 miles. 70.3, 49.2 kilometers over the course of an entire week, 30 miles. An Ironman, 100K over the course of an entire week, 60 miles. Now these numbers seem very high. That's because this isn't meant to be your total weekly mileage all the time. This is more like you build up to it, and right around week 5, 4, 3 out from your key race, you want to have at least 2 weeks where you've done this kind of mileage. So it's a sometimes thing, not an all the time thing. Other parameters on this is that weekly mileage is only that high if you can keep a bike to run mileage ratio of 5:1. So that's if you are doing, let's say, a 100K of running, you better be doing 500K of biking. If you're doing that 100K of running and you can't put out that 500K of biking, that means that you are running too much to the detriment of your biking. Only go up with running as much as you can continue that 5:1 bike to run ratio. Next thing, how should that week look? Number one, you've got to have a long run. Every single triathlete needs to have a weekly long run. For a sprint, it's got to be around 8K continuous. For an Olympic, around 16K continuous. For a half Ironman, somewhere around 23 to 25 kilometers continuous. For an Ironman, somewhere around 30 to 35 kilometers continuous. So you take that right off the top of your total mileage, and then the rest of the week, you have to make up the rest of it. So let's give you an example of an ideal peak running week for me training for a half Ironman. My long run is going to be 24 kilometers, so taking that off the target of 49 kilometers, I have 25K left. My brick run, I will have built up at that point to 8 kilometers long. That means that I have 17K left. I will have a speed or a hill workout, which will be somewhere around another 8 kilometers, meaning that I have 9 kilometers left. And then I will have, say, a tempo or a threshold run making up for that last 9 kilometers. When you put it in that context, having built up over the course of a training block, it doesn't seem that hard. That's an ideal scenario for 2, maybe 4, if you've got 2 key races over the course of a year, maybe 4 weeks a year. Otherwise, you've got to follow some very key parameters. Number 1, you build up to this with increments of 10% week over week. So if 1 week you've done 40 kilometers, the next week you're not doing any more than a total of 44 kilometers. Second thing is that as you are building up, it doesn't have to be 4 runs strictly or only 3 runs with each one being longer. You can keep, say, 3 runs the same and then maybe add a 4th very short run to build up your weekly mileage, or maybe 5 weekly runs. But here's the biggest caveat of all of this. This is an ideal scenario assuming that everything goes completely right. If your body doesn't let you build up weekly mileage, you do not build up weekly mileage. Ever. Not on running, because it's too hard on your body and it's too likely that you could develop an injury, which makes you way slower than not building up your weekly mileage. So for example, just this last week or so, I've been trying to run every single day. On the off days where I don't have a key running workout, just running in the morning, 10 minutes easy, just to keep those legs turning over. That alone has made my body feel fairly beat up. So even though my goal is to run every single day and increase my daily mileage, I've got to back it off because my body's telling me to back it off. Because in the long term, health is greater than fitness. Overall health leads to fitness. Peak fitness does not always lead to greater health. So with all of those parameters in mind, what happens if you start trying to build up your weekly mileage and your body says, well, not gonna do it? Here's what you do. These 4 things. First, very simply, you back off and listen to what your body is ready for. If you need a rest, you rest more. If you're ready for speed, do that. If you're ready for an easy run, do that. If you need a complete time off, do that. Number 2, you increase the amount of time that you spend on the bike because increased durability on the bike will leave you fresher for the run, improving your run. Number 3, you increase the amount of swim times and particularly swim intensity. Going into that peak red line in swimming is very safe. You can do it day after day after day where you can't necessarily do that in the run. So you're building your peak level of fitness in a safe way in the pool. And then 4th thing is that you start looking at alternative training methods. Like today, I started doing a little bit of water running. We're gonna try that. Or you can maybe back off total mileage and increase very intense hill sprints that don't have a ton of mileage but recruit a whole bunch of muscle fibers. You've got to be very careful with running, and that means sometimes saying, I'm not going to do a ton of mileage. I have to sacrifice a little bit of run fitness for overall health and play the long game. We want to be triathletes for a long time. We want to be fast for a long time. And you know what makes you slower than anything? Injuries and sickness and being bounced out of the sport. That sucks. So there you go, Trainiacs. That is kind of triathlon running. A little credit to Jesse Kropelnicki, head coach of QT2 Systems. Fair bit of that information are things that I've pieced together from his work because he's very specific about how he does his coaching, and it's quite sound. I've adapted it a little bit for the average age grouper there, and if you are interested in seeing how I've adapted that, it's in a lot of the new Team Trainiac platform. So if you want to be on the wait list to make sure that you're notified of when that's public, just to get in, make sure that you don't miss out on the first 250 spots, go to triathlontaren.com/team waitlist. And if you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. Later, Trainiacs.